Hello, welcome back to From Soft Serve. Today we have some more quick updates of random things I was working on. Oh, actually, you can see that bucket is floating, and so is the bag. There's a lot of issues like that where they just have certain things. Yeah, almost everything is floating. Ugh, that's the collisions, I guess. Well, actually, no, that should just be the placement of them. I should probably be able to fix that. Easy peasy. Well, actually, while we're here, I guess that makes a lot of sense. I should probably. Um, yeah, let's do that. Oh, don't look at this. This is for later in the video. Unload. Yeah, there's a sneak peek. All right, Undead Burg. Let's see. This is something that's been on my list for a long time. It's just so small that I didn't care to do it. I didn't take the time to actually. Yeah, you can even see in the map, it is literally just floating. That's just how it was. So we'll just drop that bad boy. Like right. Yeah, I think that looks good. The bag is also floating. Okay, fix that. Fix that. Okay, I think it looks kind of stupid, but all right. Let's lower that. What else we got? I think this crate is. Yeah, it's hard to get on like exactly on that level to see that it's floating. Let's see. Maybe just one tick down. Yeah, there you go. One tick down. These are just small things that you'll see that they missed during the game dev process. DS3 is another really good example of that. There's just a lot of there's like wall sconces that are like forced into the geometry and stuff, and just little things that I guess got past the QA process, which I understand because quite honestly, I wouldn't have noticed a lot of this if I wasn't floating around these places for hundreds of hours, right? A lot of it is depending on the where the player camera is. It's not always going to be something you're going to notice. So I don't actually think it's that bad. I do think this barrel on the side over here just kind of looks strange because if it's like this, it'd be rolling around, right? So I do think but that's kind of how easy it is to just whoop. While I'm here, we'll just which I think it's that one. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because whenever you're just doing the rotation like with the mouse, it's really hard to it doesn't snap to like 90 or 180. And so I got really close there, but I could see that that one was 179. So I was like, oh, okay, let me go to 180 to make sure it's actually straight. Little tiny things like that. And then we can kind of use this one to move it a little bit. And then you kind of go, aha, there you go, boom, we got that. The real reason I'm here, actually, it's almost a good thing that I died, I guess. Let's see, because I was in Blighttown and then I died, but here we are. So in the one of the recent updates to the mod, I actually deleted the particle effect for the fire, so these are just not being lit at all. And that is due to an age-old problem. So anybody who's been watching like all of these videos, shout out to the OGs. Love you guys. Love new people too. Love them all. Um, but there's an issue where basically the illumination from these torches, and throughout the game mostly, basically is dependent on the map piece that I'm looking at. The map piece that is currently selected is the inside of this entire building, and it's connected to the wall torches. They're part of it. And so whenever you set this interior to be sometimes even a shadow destination or a shadow source over here, that turns off the illumination. There's some connection between that. Weirdly, it's not even about the baked light maps. Presumably that would be, I think the original thought would be sort of like, okay, did they bake in the illumination? It's like, no, technically they did not. It's interesting. I think they could have. Of course, you could. And there are certain cases where they did actually. I've seen some of the light maps that I've been replacing, and some of them had orangish yellow portions. that were clearly there to resemble illumination. So that must have been their way of like assisting in that. But yeah, it can turn it off. Mostly it's the shadow source setting, which is the setting that sets it to block light and then cast an actual shadow. And why would I want to do that? Well, the problem is, there are cases where like if I want to set this outside portion to be a shadow casting, and then so the sun is hitting this building, and then the light would actually be coming right in here. So depending on the direction of the sun, let's just do this for example. This is actually not how the shadow X and Y coordinates are, but this is a lot of the time in the game how it happens, where the sun's coming in and it wants to hit this floor. Well, the problem with that is this floor right here is actually connected to this interior. It's all one big map piece. So basically, this happened in Anne Orlando a lot. And so, even stripping out the baked light map that's set for this building, that's kind of your first thing, because then it can allow new dynamic ones to show on top of it. You can do that, but it still is dependent on you setting it to be a shadow destination. So shadows can be cast on it. It's nice that there is a control where you can hit 1 or 0 on that, and there are cases where you don't want shadows to be cast. And then shadow source is, in this case, you wouldn't need it as much because you have an exterior map piece that would be handling that and the interior map piece. But even then, the game engine has a lot of issues with sometimes it's okay having a shadow destination and then it will show the illumination. And I haven't found a rhyme or reason for that yet. So long-winded explanation. But I found basically a different particle effect, flame style, that doesn't seem to have that issue. So as you can see here in our interior map piece, we do have shadow destination and shadow source, both turned on. This would normally turn off all illumination from torches. But as you can see in game, we have an actual illumination. Not only that, but I've been a little sneaky. I've been very sneaky here. You can see we're getting the actual smoke coming off of it, but we're getting the illumination. And how I did that, it was super sneaky. So the actual normal flame effect that's here, that's putting the smoke off, is not actually emitting illumination right now. It is purely just doing the particle effect. But I tricked it by basically one of these. So this little geometric shape, it refers to the actual particle effect and a couple different things for the game engine, a point light and then SFX. And then the actual region SFX. There's 3 of them that go into making these torches illuminate. And so what I did is one of these, okay, yeah, so you'll see one of these here is set to effect ID 530. So 530 is used in Blighttown, New Londo, those blue torches. It's their most commonly used effect ID, I think, in terms of illumination and sort of light related things, I think. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But 530 is used a lot. And it's great. Unfortunately, it has these problems with shadow source and destination. Sometimes, not always. But here specifically it does. And so what I did is I actually, you can see, not actually, let's not go to light. And so basically I had to make these from scratch because I had deleted them. And there was no Control Z to like undo it because I had already exited out of the program. So you can see over here, I basically duplicated one of these point lights. And I named it M2012, which is what the map piece is here, M2012, B1 technically. And I basically made that, and then you go, okay, cool, got it. You name it this, M2012, make sure the event ID is unique. Then there's the SFX. You have to make sure there is one that is named exactly the same. So M2012, and then 1, make sure the event ID is normal. And you basically have, and I made 6 of them. Well, if you'll notice, there's 1, 2, 3 in here. Well, why would I make 6? Well, that's where the crafty part comes in. Basically, there's another effect in the game engine known as 511, which I'd found in another part of this map. And it is a different fire effect that's meant, I think, for candles-ish. And it has no problem with illumination and shadow sources for whatever reason. There's something to do with the SFX actual file. And so I basically placed one of the 511s with the 530s. And so it will handle the illumination. The 530 fire effect is big enough to cover up that you'll never notice that the 511 one was ever there. And so now you have this perfect combination, I think, of illumination and the torch looking normal and having a shadow source and destination. So I've duct tape solution. And of course, there's no real performance implications because they're particle effects and they're super cheap. Just for funsies, if you want to see, I was also looking at, so this is the actual SFX file that converted to an XML file using FXMRL something program, wonderful tool that can convert these and then convert it back. And basically, you can see 511 is the effect ID. And then it goes into a bunch of stuff that creates the actual fire effect. Like, look how long this is. This is everything that goes into making that particle effect. Now, 530 is the one that we're actually like visually seeing the most. And it similarly has, this is what we're dealing with. I was trying to go in here to figure out where in here does it tell the game engine to have illumination. And I'm sure you can relate that this is a lot of information. So I need to get better about understanding what this does. Now, interestingly, this is the first time I've seen in the game files where it's specifically like referenced Dark Souls Remastered instead of just being essentially like a copy of Prepare to Die. You'll see it where it actually says DS1R, and it has like specific DS1R related settings versus just your standard stuff you would have seen in Prepare to Die. I always found that interesting. I was like, okay, interesting. But yeah, so basically, we now have torch illumination, and it's really cool, and it was a struggle. It randomly came to me where I was like, well, shit, I know the 511 one works. How the hell did that guy make the message up here? And so yeah, I was like, well, shit, okay, cool. So hopefully you found that interesting. Oh yeah, I didn't save the map changes on the barrels. That's right. Let's fix that real quick. Undead Burg, Undead Parish. Let's see. Also, thank you for the support on the last video. Looking at some of the updates. Yeah, it crossed like 2,000 views again. It's kind of crazy. The videos just organically throughout the day just keep going up in views. It's crazy. Never expected it. Oh, shit. Ah! Oh, hell. Well, that sucks. Okay, I think I copied it over. Let's see if we fixed the bucket. Well, kind of. It's lower than before. Oh, god damn it. Okay, well. And once again, a break object related thing. Can I rest? Does that set anything back? No, it doesn't. Okay. Well, sick. Luckily, this won't affect your game. This is just a weird change of, I guess, moving the barrel? I don't know. It's been happening on a couple maps. But luckily, in my mod, I don't include break object files that handle how objects are broken like this. And so your game will be totally fine with the mod. So that's just something on my end. I guess modding it sort of jacks it up, but I don't care. All right. Now you'll see the collision there. You kind of like step up. Part of me would like to fix. I mean, I guess that's how it's supposed to be. It's got like little wooden logs that are keeping it up like that. Oh, all right. Quickly, I guess let's go to Blighttown. Very quick update there. I thought I screwed something up. Well, I did momentarily, but I still need to do more work on Blighttown. I'm actually excited to get back to that. Someone in the comments mentioned that currently it has a Valley of Defilement look. And I was like, damn, you're so right. That's kind of cool. That wasn't intentional, but that is kind of a nice callback to Demon Souls. I will 100% say that Valley of Defilement is vastly worse than Blighttown. Specifically on a first playthrough, I think the Valley of Defilement is just brutal. I still got to change the color of this. That's just real bad. Well, the weird thing is I don't know why it doesn't change in, like, it's clearly changing collisions, but it doesn't change its shading at all or anything, so I don't know. Weird. I have still not figured out the weird issues over here. I did get a really nice DM on Discord from an indie developer who was just thanking me for working on this game and the effort I put into it. It was really sweet. It was really, 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 really nice. But then they followed it up after seeing my last video, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I think that's probably related. You know how the game engine uses a height map to blend between textures or interpolate between them, and they're actually like painting vertex color." Unfortunately, I did get to the height map on these two different map pieces, and unfortunately it didn't, and I basically made them transparent, which I need to test more because that is how I remove the baked shadow maps, is by setting the texture to be completely white, but that might not be how the height map has any sort of functionality. So I need to try different things with that. But unfortunately there was no difference at all. So there is a way. There has to be a way. There's clearly something going on with these textures that I will continue to look at. Because every time I thought I couldn't do something, it turns out there was just something I didn't know that totally made it possible. So, also my cat Bella is saying hi. She's doing her morning rounds. I'm not on camera, so you can't see anything. But just imagine a really cute cat sitting right next to the microphone. And I think she's going to rub it with her head. So we'll see how that sounds. Okay. Let's go into Blighttown real quick. Man, that transition is... Yeah, also you can see my character is receiving light when he shouldn't be. That is clearly an issue. Also, I've been meaning to brighten this up. Like, Blighttown is so early on. I've done so little work on it. So I just wanted to show one quick update on... it was actually from a commenter, well, not a commenter, but it was on Patreon. Lib Retro was like, "Oh yeah, you should have a look at the point light IDs." And I went, "Oh shit." Buddy. Yeah, can I kick them off? No, I don't think that's gonna do it. Oh my god, you guys are chunky bullets. Yeah, there you go. Well, if you'll notice, the classic problem I've had is that the torches would emit perfectly white light here for some reason. And I couldn't figure out why, and I thought it had to do with like specular color. Turns out I was a dumbass, and it's super easy. Literally in the... Oh, I'll show you. So basically, we'll use this as an example, because they're the same thing, and they use 530. But even if it was 511, the different point lights. So if you'll notice, when you look at the actual under event and then lights, point light M2012, and so in Blighttown it's, M whatever. You see right here it says point light ID 15. Well, for whatever reason I didn't connect that. My lizard brain didn't connect that very clearly means that that's in the M10 point light bank, right? It's right there. And then it has the RGB, it has the alpha, the dwindle of like the different illumination. And so this doesn't control like whether there is illumination or not, because obviously they both had 15 between the two different SFX IDs, and one does and one doesn't. So I think it's in the actual like XML file that I converted. But yeah, it's right there. You can just alter the color. So I literally went into M14, which is Blighttown, and you can see I modified it here, and it was under 32. And so instead of, it used to be 255, 255, 255, which is white. And I did 25, that's right. So I changed it to 242, 125, 12, which I Googled, of course, RGB fire, and I found the right shade I was looking for. And I can mess with the alpha of how much like shows up. But yeah, now in Blighttown, I'm very happy with how this looks and the coloring. We have a nice shadow. So I want to continue this on. Let's continue down for a second, because actually the last time I was here, for funsies, I moved a torch just to move it and see if it would show up, which of course it would, but I guess I was kind of like, well, shit, let's try. But yeah, I'm really happy how this looks. Okay, stop barfing on me. Okay, we're just gonna go down. Oh, not that way. We ain't going in there. We are not going in there. But yeah, I love the coloring here, and I don't know if you can see it over there on the other torches as well. And I would like to continue these torches in Blighttown, basically throughout more parts of it, because they kind of stopped using them. Like, they used them here, and then they were like, that's fine. But there's such an opportunity here to do a lot more. And it's just really strange. I don't know why they... Oh yeah, you can see this is where I died. Well, I'm not poisoned right now. So basically, yeah, this is the floor. And we have... Now they're illuminating a lot more than they used to as well. They used to not really do much illumination. Although, you can see there's no shadow. I'm thinking that's because the ground here is not set as a... Yeah, you can see a difference there. Yeah. So basically, this is set as a shadow destination, and clearly the floor, I guess, is not. Let's look at that real quick. I have one more thing to look at in this video. It's so scattershot, but I hope you guys enjoy this. And a lot of this stuff is applicable to other parts of the game, obviously. And thus far, I haven't found anything like super game breaking, so that's nice. Let's find out where we're at. I think we're down here. Ah, yeah, so you can see this giant map piece connects all the way to here, and it's currently set as not a destination or a source. And I believe if I just turn it to a source, that should be fine. I can't remember why I did that. I think I had goofed some stuff up, and so I had to undo the shadow source and destination settings. Because I had to strip out the baked lighting on like all of this. I think I forgot to mention that, but yeah, I had to go through and strip out a ton of baked lighting in Blighttown. There's actually a lot more too. There's tons in Blighttown. And it's weird considering there's not really a lot of light going on, which, yeah, look at that. I also love how easy it is to fix things like that. You just go in and go, whoop, done, got it. So here's the torch I moved over here. So this is sort of a test for illumination. Now you will see that interestingly, I believe it's the shadow from this pillar takes prominence over the illumination from this torch, which shouldn't happen, right? Which, you know, that's the other interesting thing, is that this is effect ID 530, and the destination didn't change it. But I wonder, let's see if it turns off here as well. So if we turn this map piece, which is this big ground portion, to a shadow source, which isn't really necessary, but just for testing, I am curious. Will that turn off the illumination from the torches? Because it normally does, but I found it to be area dependent, and I haven't fully figured out why it's area dependent. But it seemingly is, right? The quirks of modding Dark Souls Remastered. See, that's very strange. It did turn off the illumination. Couldn't tell you why. Could not tell you why. Although, I noticed this isn't casting a shadow. Yeah, what's going on with that? Alright, well, I guess that's fine. Did I set this not as... Oh yeah, this isn't a shadow source. What the hell? Okay. Well, let's do a shadow source. To be honest, I don't know if I need this to be a shadow source. Well, so the shadow source, how much is it controlling? Ooh, wow, it's actually this whole back wall portion. Uh, yeah. All right, I guess I'll keep that for now. I'll keep that in mind in case it goofs up later. I can just always turn it off. All right, so we're gonna turn them on one by one and just not fuck anything up. I've learned that if you go too quick, mess around with shit. Okay, let's see how that worked. Which, as I log in, you'll see the restriction on my account. That's been there for months, so I don't know what it was based on. Oh, look at that shadow! Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, so this is kind of my vision for Blighttown, in that it can look better than it did. I think like here, like for instance, there is open sky at the top of Blighttown, and right now that's not really being reflected, so like I'm gonna keep modifying that, because an earlier version of mine that I had, you know, like there is an open sky, so that should be taken into account, right? But this torch here, I think, is a good indication. Oh my god, yeah, I gotta heal up here. Let's also take off my... Okay, I went completely the wrong way. That's fine. Yoink. So this is an example, certainly, of the shadow. I guess the engine sees the shadow from this. Yeah, so shadow source is on for this giant pillar. If we turn that off, because I don't think that's going to be necessary with as dark as it is, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So we're going to turn that off, just because I don't think that's going to be a benefit to anyone. So these are kind of the decisions you have to make when you're modding this. You're consistently making trade-offs of like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that, and well, I might need that later, but then oh, well, that's going to fuck that up. And you're constantly playing whack-a-mole. But it's kind of fun, to be honest. There's a method to the madness, I guess. And let's turn that back on, because I have one more place I want to show. And I've been recording for 27 minutes. I try not to do like more than 30 minutes, but I fail most of the times. Yesterday was like 20, so that was, you know, pretty... Hey, what the hell? Well then, what the hell? Alright. Oh, no. Alright. Well then, what the fuck is that shadow from? Is that from a mystical... Alright, that's fucking strange. Huh. Well, oh, I do see a giant shadow being cast there. Did I not copy over the folders? Am I missing something? Oh, I might be missing the top portion here. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that was it. Yeah, I bet it was this top portion. Yeah, because I don't think these are really gonna... Oh, that's already set to not. All right. Well, let's turn that off too. There's a lot of things that like don't really need to be shadow source. And of course, this wasn't like an issue before, because they had turned off... Well, they had been using baked light maps, and basically a lot of those made it to where shadows wouldn't show up anyway. So I'm assuming that was sort of an insurance policy against that. I don't know. Also cheaper. Let's see, because I think that shadow was likely coming from the one above. Probably. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, hell yeah it was. And so now you'll see it wonderfully cast the shadow, or cast the light on this big pillar, which looks awesome. And you now get a little bit of illumination over here. I don't actually know why that specific one right over there doesn't have illumination, and also that one. There's something going on with that. I may have missed some things. But yeah, my goal is to definitely move more torches throughout Blighttown for sure. Let's go check out the other side real quick. Alright. Come on. Yeah, like there should definitely be more, I think, like around these pillars. Oh, that one's set to still be a shadow cast. My bad. Hey. Settle down, guys. The other thing is the light setting on the torches here is obviously incorrect, right? I ran out of this. Okay, this is an absolute gangbang. Oh my god. Okay. Do I have a humanity? Okay, no I don't. So we're just gonna talk as long as we can. Or we go to the bonfire. That's the smarter choice. Let's go to the bonfire. Before I die. Woo! Close one. But yeah, you'll see the other side of Blighttown unless I die again or get really close to dying. So the illumination's good, but the actual like torches, you can see their light setting is set to like standard Blighttown, right? Oh my god. Geometry, I swear to god. Okay, I have never had this much issue getting up this fucking shit. Oh, this is just well, that's the worst. That's the worst. That is, I got gangbanged. Alright, well the game engine's telling me, hey, don't go over there. So I won't go over there. There's not much to see other than more torches. But anyway, I need to modify the actual light setting specifically for those torches because they're currently set to be very greenish even though there's a red illumination. For whatever reason, they're not receiving any of that color change, so kind of strange. I will look at that. Beyond that, let's quickly go to Undead Parish. It's a very quick thing. I did a couple things in Darkroot Garden? Basin? Okay, there's a little Sen's Fortress. Oh, also don't look at Andre being dead. He's totally alive. Don't worry about it. Sorry, I blame modding this game. I accidentally had to hit him. And, well, because I had to tab back into the game, which then automatically, I was using the mouse and keyboard because this game has a glitch for me that apparently turns it to where I can only use a mouse and keyboard. So I ended up smacking him, and I felt really bad. Really, really, God. Also, the transition between this area and Darkroot Garden I have to fix because it's terrible. It's so bad. Look at that. Oh my god. God awful. And then it turns, see, like out here is more so what I would want the interior here to look like. I want it to be a little darker in there, so I will work on that. But something I did in Darkroot Garden is I stripped out, because it's an area I hadn't really messed with a whole lot in quite a while. I stripped out the baked lighting on all these map pieces. And the reason for that is I figured that was the reason why there were not shadows being visible, even by the moonlight, right? Like here, technically I shouldn't have shadows, right? Like, of course. You can see a shadow of my character on the ground here. Yeah, that I can modify. I was testing it, basically. And so let's head this way. But yeah, I had to strip out the baked lighting from all types of map pieces and whatnot. And because it still has the same vibe of Darkroot Garden, which is, you know, obviously good. Very foggy and moist. I have to say that in every video. It is moist. But you get this, like, look at the illumination and the specularity. Because I also messed with some of the specular details. Oh, wow. Oh, enemy. Oh, thank God. I was like, what the fuck did I do? Damn, Woo! There we go. But yeah, you see this gorgeous specular detail on the bricks. Like, of course, some of the texture is a little low resolution, but that's fine. Yeah, we'll head through here, and you immediately see there's a shadow. And I essentially think of it from the moonlight, right? Because this area is very known for having kind of there's a moon kind of through the trees. I set the trees to not be shadow casting because there's too many of them, and it would basically just darken everything. And I was like, nah. It's the same thing I did in the DLC or Ulasil. But I think the shadows just gives a little bit more depth to the area. I really like it. Ow, you and your little iframes. Son of a bitch. I had to kill these motherfuckers every time. I swear to God, I thought they were one-time kills. Like, I don't know why. I just assumed that they were. But yeah, see some nice specular detail there. We got my little shadow from the moonlight, which, you know, of course, is not the most accurate, but I'm pretty okay with it. Oh yeah, that's the water, right. Okay. I love the illumination coming from the flowers because I also upped the amount of specular. Oh my god, I got stuff. That can be visible in the map. I basically like doubled it. Oh my god. Oh my god. How has this never happened to me in Darkroot Garden? Ever. Oh shit. Oh, you're a threefer? Oh. Play like absolute dog shit. Alright. Yeah, let's go this way. Yeah, this is exactly from the DLC. That's so cool. Yeah, so there's no shadows over here. I don't know if I had actually gotten to this bridge, to be honest. I don't think I had done all of Darkroot Garden. Actually, no, let's go the other bridge. Trying to make a video. Oh god, that waterfall looks terrible. I'm gonna imagine I didn't see that. But yeah, I love how that flower is killing it with the illumination. Admittedly, actually, that's a good idea. I could put more of those in Darkroot Garden. I feel like they didn't use them often enough, but it certainly could be a gameplay mechanic to sort of guide the player a little bit, right? What, that's like sunlight? Is that why that's showing up so much? Yeah, I think oh. I'll have to look at that, because that looks kind of weird. Okay, yeah, I'll have to look at that texture. Shit. Oh my god, got a fucking Olympic sprinter back here. Jesus Christ. I'm just trying to show off dark, yeah, this little edge thing, I gotta de-specular this thing. It's a little bit too much. Kind of a classic problem. Oh my god. Okay. I'm already lost in Darkroot Garden. But anyway, you see the thing I wanted to show, which is basically... I was trying to get to, like, Sip's Bridge, but okay, well, that's the entrance. Oh, okay. Now I kind of know where I'm at. Yeah, I know... Oh, yeah, there's more of these jabronis. You know what? I'm not in the mood. Just not in the mood. What's up, dog? Okay, well, you got me on that. Fair play. Fair play. Oh, thank God, you fucking backstepped. Like a bitch. I don't know what you were getting ready for, but no thanks, dog. Yeah, did I do anything special out here? I don't know. I don't remember. The main thing is, hey, your player now has a shadow. So, was that worth stripping out baked lighting for everything? Maybe. Maybe not. Kinda cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, let's go into Sif's thing. Let's end it there. Okay, I know I have to de-specular this little side thing. It seems a little bit much. Yeah, so the bridge has, you know, from like the sun or moonlight? Sun? I don't know what that's supposed to be, but it's a light source. So you have a nice little shadow. You stripped out so much baked lighting. And you come in here, and now you have a shadow in this arena, which is nice. And not only that, but the actual tombstones have shadows as well. Although I noticed they don't have like a collision, so you just walk through them. And I'm like, oh, I don't remember deleting a collision, so it's interesting. But yeah, so kind of cool. I don't know, small updates. Yeah, you see a little bit of light on the tombstone right there. So, and your shadow can cover the light that's hitting the flowers, which I think looks quite nice. Yeah, it is interesting. I guess they were like, you know what, it'd be too hard to do a collision on all these swords and tombstones, so fuck it. We're not going to do it. But yeah, hopefully that looks cool. Small updates. I have more work to do. I might mess around with those flowers, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because that's an easy way to do illumination. Because I don't think they have their own separate, like, SFX. I think it's actually tied to that object. So you can just move and duplicate that object around, and the illumination will go with it, I believe, which is pretty sweet. So, oh, I also messed around with the cube maps a little bit to find out which one in Darkroot Garden was the best. I have not figured out, because I figured this out in Dark Souls 2, how to use and basically transfer a cube map between maps. Because there's one in Firelink Shrine that I would prefer to use everywhere, because it's genuinely like the reflectivity is great, but each map does it differently, which is really strange. I guess I'll show that real quick because it's yeah, okay. My tab switching here is not doing so hot. Let's check real quick. So in Blighttown, you'll see they have these in-Blight map spot name, which makes sense, right? So that's the thing I'm used to from like Firelink Shrine. But I think if you go to like Undead Burg, I want to say it's different here as well. So you go to the collisions because that's where they're handled. Yeah, so you go here, and they're now calling them the GIEL. So I'm assuming Global Illumination Environment Light. I'm assuming is what they're calling that, H1009, and so it's completely named differently. And it's like, well, interesting. Okay, I guess you're just naming things differently. That's fine. Which all of them are like listed under environment. And unfortunately, their settings are pretty unclear. I guess I can try to look at which one I want to use and which one has the most reflectivity and then look at these settings. Because as you can see, all of them are the UNKs for unknown. Like they have not, the creators of this tool have not named it because we haven't 100% figured out and named what it does. As that's usually just a process of understanding, changing it, and then seeing what it does. Then they can name it. But there's the 15, which I'm interested by. I don't know what that is. So you can see the settings don't really change other than this TO4 goes from 100 to 200 sometimes. So I find that interesting. I guess that's, for me, I'm wondering what, I might be able to figure out what that TO4 does, just judging by that. If I can change that based upon a collision where I'm at and which one I've set. Because if we go to the collisions here, I think I've set the Undead Burg ones to all be a certain one. I think. No, I haven't. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, well, that'll be for next video, because otherwise this video will be forever. Right now it's already 43 minutes, so I got to wrap this up. But yeah, it's really interesting how some of them will all be different styles of cube maps. It's really strange that there's not one specific system. It's all under collisions, admittedly. And so this one's called GI and then O4. So this is more like your standard Firelink Shrine style. But there's one of these that has really strange, like it really threw me off. Because I was like, wait, what the fuck? I can't remember if it was Darkroot Garden, but there was one where it was literally like a 1 through you actually had to like plus or minus by a number, and I was like, what? What are you talking about? Is it the? Oh, maybe it's the catacombs. It might be the catacombs. If not, then I'll just end the video here. That's no big deal. Just as a reminder for me. No, they use the same kind of like Japanese characters that I don't know what it means, but it's fine. But yeah, anyway, let's end it there. I've already recorded for way too long. Sorry for the long video again. Double what last video was. So hopefully you enjoyed all this weird nitty gritty look at the game engine and how it functions, and hopefully you like my crafty changes in with the torches. I was pretty happy with that one. I came out, it was completely randomly. I was in bed and I was watching some trashy TV show, and it came to me and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's a good idea. I don't need to fix the other illumination. I can just copy the other one and then no one will know." Well, I mean, anyone who's watching this video, but the end user will just see a nice illuminated torch, and they don't need to care how it, how the sausage is made, right? But it works. So, uh, yeah. Anyway, if you enjoyed it, consider hitting the like button. It does help a lot. Expands the reach of the videos. We get more subscribers, bigger community, more fun, more souls people. And it'd be cool. It'd be fun. It'd be snazzy. And subscribe if you haven't already. We've had a lot of new subscribers. I post videos mostly daily. Not all the time, but mostly daily of my modding journey. And there's always little things I'm doing, and it keeps me on track. So it's a symbiotic relationship between the videos and the modding, because I'm excited to make the video, so I'm excited to mod, so I'm excited to make the video and post the video and then talk with you guys. And so it's just this really cool symbiosis. Is that it? Is that a thing? I don't know. But yeah, and share the video if you have anyone who might like this sort of nerdy shit and wants to try out the mod. I have not updated the mod in a few days, I don't think. I've been making some changes, but I was like, I want to make sure it's stable enough that it doesn't, I don't know, look fucking weird. So that, I think I should be able to update it this time, because I don't think I've messed anything up. I solved the flashbang from the last episode. So, but anyway, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Praise the sun, fear the old blood, all the cool things, foul tarnished, all the good shit.